সো আমরা এখনই দিয়ে দিচ্ছি টোটাল টাইম 5 মিনিট দেন you have another 4 minutes very late. Last 1 minute. ফাতিমা আমার তো সবার নাম মুখস্থ হয়েছে তাই না যেভাবে আমি সবকিছু করতাম আমি পিছনে আজকে আমার দুজন বেশ বড় সহযোগী আছে আর আমি আপনাদের সাথে পেছনে বসে থাকতে হ্যাঁ বসে দেখবো আচ্ছা তো সেক্ষেত্রে একটা বিষয় আমার আসলে প্রত্যেকেই শুরুতে যেটাই করেন নিউজ করেন ডিবেট করেন যেটাই করেন শুরুতে আপনার নামটা স্পষ্টভাবে বলবেন যে আমি ফাসিহা আমি নাইস আমি আফিফা এইভাবে আমি নোমান মানে শুধু যখন আমি নামটা লিখতে পারি আমি নাম লিখবো যদি আল্লাহ আমাকে কোনো মানে অসুস্থতা না পেলে যে কানে শুনছি না এরকম আমি আমার জ্ঞান যতটুকু সম্ভব করবো আর এরপরেও অ্যাজ এ হিউম্যান বিং টুকটাক এদিকে হতেই পারে এটা প্রোগ্রাম এমন কিছু না যে জীবনের শেষ প্রোগ্রাম কেবল শুরু হচ্ছে জীবন রাইট সুতরাং রেজাল্ট খারাপ হলে বা কোনো কিছু না পারলে কানাকানি করা বা এটা সেটা এরকম কিছু না সবার জন্য ক্রেস্ট আছে সবার জন্য গিফটস আছে আমরা শুধুমাত্র যারা যাতে পারে না প্রত্যেককে আমরা কিছু না কিছু নিয়ে যাব আর আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট আসবেন এখনই উনি আসার পরে আমাদের প্রোগ্রামের কন্ট্যাক্ট দেখবেন তারপর আমাদের মেইন প্রোগ্রামের যে বিষয়গুলো আছে সেটা আমরা হয়তো মার্কটা দিয়ে আমরা তো ওনার হাতে কিছু গিফট দেব নেওয়ার পরে আমরা আবার আমাদের আরো কিছু প্রোগ্রাম থাকবে সেটা করবো এরকম আচ্ছা ফেসবুক কোথায় ফেসবুক ওই থাকবে সব ওখানে যে কম্পিউটারটা দেখলাম যে কম্পিউটার টেবিল বা এটা টেবিল ওকে আর গার্ডেনদের জন্য রিকোয়েস্ট যে আমরা ধৈর্য ধরে থাকবো প্রোগ্রামটা যদি আমরা আসলে 5টায় শেষ করে দেব তাহলে পরিশুদ্ধ হবে না একটাই দিন আমরা একটু ওদেরকে সময় দিই 5টা 5:30 6টা যতক্ষণ লাগে সর্বোচ্চ 6টার মধ্যে হয়ে যাওয়ার কথা আর নামাজের বিরতির সময় নামাজের বিরতি থাকে সবাই নামাজ পড়বে মসজিদে আছে নামাজ পড়ে আবার চলে আসবে আর লাস্ট প্রেসটা সবার শেষে দিব যেন আমরা সবাই স্টে করি ঠিক আছে আর ক্লাস রেগুলার ক্লাস চলতেই থাকবে যাদের ক্লাস যেভাবে আছে শুধু ফার্স্ট কিন্তু ব্যাচ শেষ ছেলেদের মেয়েদের তো আমি আবার পরে একটু মোটিভেশন নিয়ে আসবো এখন মোটামুটি আমাদের অনুষ্ঠান যাদের তাদের সাথে ছেড়ে দিয়ে আমরা মোটামুটি ওরা কথাবার্তা বলো আর ম্যানেজার ভাই আমার যে হার্ডবোর্ড কোথায় কিবোর্ড কোথায় কলম কোথায় মানে আমল নামা লিখবে যেখানে আর কি। আচ্ছা, গার্ডিয়ানদের কাছে একটা রিকোয়েস্ট, যে যেমন পারফর্ম করুক সবাইকে অ্যাপ্রিশিয়েট করবেন, হাততালি দিবেন, ভালো বলবেন। নেগেটিভ কোনো কথা শুনতে চাই না, এই তুমি এটাই পারলে না এরকম কিছু বলবেন না। যদি বলতে আমাকে বলেন যে আপনি শেখাতে পারেন নাই, কিন্তু আমার বাচ্চাদেরকে কিছু বলবেন না, রাইট? ওরা সবাই চেষ্টা করছে, সবাই পারছে, অনেক ভালো করবে। এনজয় দ্য প্রোগ্রাম, কিন্তু আমরা সবসময় পজিটিভ থাকবো, রাইট?
কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই আমাদের মাঝে উপস্থিত হবেন আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট জনাব শেখ মাজিদুর হক, সহযোগী অধ্যাপক বেগম বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় মার্কেটিং ডিপার্টমেন্ট। বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় সহযোগী অধ্যাপক মার্কেটিং ডিপার্টমেন্ট বেগম founder of the Secretary. Yeah, really. Right now we are over the moon.
Because finally is the day for which we were eagerly waiting.
Really, we got the moment, and now there are a group of speakers, politicians, and writers before us who will lead the world in the future. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, this is Tasrin Prati before you, and with me I have my co-host.
Maudud Ahmed Hridoy, or you can address us Bangali Babu English ma'am.
So, let's begin.
Let's begin.
Okay, so now we are going to start our official program with recitation from the Holy Quran.
পবিত্র কোরআন থেকে তেলাওয়াতের জন্য মাইদুলকে মঞ্চে আহ্বান জানাচ্ছি।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين বাংলা বাক্য। দয়াময় পরম দয়ালু আল্লাহ হলেন, সকল প্রশংসা জগৎ সমূহের প্রতিপালক আল্লাহ হলেন, যিনি দয়াময় পরম দয়ালু, কর্মফল দিবসের মালিক। আমরা শুধু তোমারই ইবাদত করি, শুধু তোমারই সাহায্য প্রার্থনা করি। আমাদেরকে সরল পথ প্রদর্শন করো, তাহাদের পথ যাহাদেরকে তুমি অনুগ্রহ দান করিয়াছ, তাহাদের পথ নহে যাহারা পথ বিপরীত ও পথভ্রষ্ট। ইংলিশ মিডিয়াম। In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful, sovereign of the day of recompense. It is you we worship, and you we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favor, not of those who have prohibited your anger, or of those who are astray. Assalamu alaikum.
পবিত্র গীতাটি পাঠ করার জন্য আহ্বান জানাচ্ছি
প্রদীপ্ত রায় পার্থ।
ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय। শান্তি শান্তি বাংলা অর্থ কখনো স্বধর্ম অধিকার থেকে নিজেকে বঞ্চিত করো না এবং নিজের স্বধর্ম অধিকার রক্ষার ক্ষেত্রে সর্বোচ্চ চেষ্টা করো।
So now I'm inviting the participants to get ready for the reading contest.
Let's start with Anika.
Assalamualaikum, this is Anika Nawar. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural, subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called technical terms. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in a language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
Please, Noman, come here.
Assalamualaikum. This is Imtiaz Mahmud Noman with you. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in a language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you very much.
Really, it was great.
I'm Salia with you. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way that people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural, subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate in non-technical terms. Acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in a language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
This is Mojahid Hassan. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring knowledge of language in a natural, subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may be also called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
Next competitor, Sushi.
Assalamualaikum, this is Katrin Mahmoud Shoshi. Learn English appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural, subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you so much for that.
Vivi.
Assalamualaikum. This is Ifrahim Samini in front of you. Learning a language. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in a different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in natural, subconscious process. They are aware only the fact they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described explicit learning. Thank you all.
Really, it was magnificent. Our next competitor is Riyad, who is the famous person of our Facebook page.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Riyad. Learning a language. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in a language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of the language uses and being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
It is Fatima.
Assalamualaikum. This is Hafsa Fatma Yasmin from Learning a language. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of the language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Maidul Islam. Learning a language. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in their mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural, subconscious process. They are aware only of the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is speaking out a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing communicative competence in language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
Our next and last participant of reading is Afifa.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Afifa Basne before you. Learning a language. Communicative competence refers to the ability to use language appropriately in different circumstances. There are two ways of developing communicative competence in a language. The first is acquisition, which is similar to the way people develop ability in the mother tongue. Users are not usually aware of acquiring a language in a natural subconscious process. They are aware only the fact that they are using the language to communicate. In non-technical terms, acquisition is picking up a language spontaneously. It may also be called implicit learning. On the other hand, the second way of developing competence in a language is learning that language. It refers to conscious knowledge of a language, knowing the rules of the language use, being aware of using them, and being able to talk about them. In non-technical terms, learning is to know consciously about language. It may be described as explicit learning. Thank you.
Dear audience, what was the reading session? What was the reading session? Are you alive? Yeah, you should respond. We all are teenagers, brother. Yeah. Dear audience, which team do you support in the World Cup? আমাদের অনুষ্ঠানটাকে যুদ্ধক্ষেত্র বানাতে চাচ্ছি না। তার থেকে বরং আমরা একটা কাজ করতে পারি। ওয়ার্ল্ড কাপে সিঙ্গারদেরকেই নিয়ে আসি। একটা থিম সং শুনতে পারি। Obviously, why not? They are already here. Because আমরা তাদেরকে প্লেনে নিয়ে আসছি, আমরা রকেটে নিয়ে আসছি। This is the event of language well-being.
Together at the end of the day, champions, take the field now. Unify us, make us feel proud. In the streets our heads are lifting. As we lose our inhibition, celebration is around us. Every nation all around us, staying forever young. Singing songs under the sun. Let's rejoice in the beautiful game. And together to lead out the day. We all say, when I get older, I will be stronger. They call me freedom, just like a waving. When I get older, I will be stronger. They call me freedom, just like a waving flag. So wave your flag, now wave your flag, now wave your flag. Oh, 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 oh.
Guys, do you want one more?
সেই তুমি কেন এত অচেনা হলে? সেই আমি কেন তোমাকে দুঃখ দিলে? কেমন করে এত অচেনা হলে তুমি? কিভাবে এত বদলে গেছি এই আমি? ও বুকেরই সব কষ্ট দুহাতে সরিয়ে চলো বদলে যাই। তুমি কেন বোঝো না তোমাকে ছাড়া আমি অসহায়? আমার সবটুকু ভালোবাসা তোমায় ঘিরে। আমার অপরাধ ছিল যতটুকু তোমার কাছে। তুমি ক্ষমা করে দিও আমায়। তুমি ক্ষমা করে দিও আমায়।
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. This is Hasni Master Shashi. Guys, silence please. This is Hasni Master Shashi once again. Here goes the news presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 Iron Rashtriya Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair made his farewell visit to the White House and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you so much.
Standing, Fakhruddin নিজে শুনলেও মজা পাইবেন।
Okay, our next contestant, Anika.
Now it's time for news presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed, who died at Rashtriya Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you.
Our next participant, Anika.
News. I'm Imtiaz Mahmood Noman with you. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4. Die at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you.
Next is Riyadh.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Health BD News and I am Riyadh with you. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 die at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you.
Our next participant is Nila, who is the presenter of Al Jazeera.
I'm Rojatul Rahman Nila before you. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 die at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. White House. And Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you. Thank you.
Next participant, Alpana.
The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 died at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India first test from today.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Mujahid. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible. Assalamu alaikum. This is Mujahid news presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 die at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House. Bangladesh in their first test from today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mujahid. Next is Naheed.
This is Naheed Islam with you. News presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 died from Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sabrin before you. News presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 died at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India will change from today. Thank you. News presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed. 4 die at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Awami League President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a
President Sheikh Hasina said, the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair made farewell visit to the White House and Bangladesh India participated from today. Thank you.
This is Mubin Khan before you. So let's start our news presentation. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed, who died at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Our meeting President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. This is LPG News. I'm Rizwana Islam Premium with you. The caretaker government is determined to hold election as early as possible, said Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed, who died at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh is their first test from today. Thank you.
This is Marjan Nedubachan with you. The caretaker government is determined to hold elections as early as possible, says Chief Advisor Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed, who died at Rajshahi Medical College Hospital without treatment. Along with President Sheikh Hasina said the nation is now in a suffocating situation. Prime Minister Tony Blair makes farewell visit to White House, and Bangladesh India first test from today. Thank you.
আকর্ষণ তবে বিলম্ব প্রতিযোগিতা শুরু করতে যাচ্ছি। প্রথমে আহ্বান করছি পক্ষ দলের প্রথম বক্তাকে।
I am Mahmoudul Hassan Nurpuri. Let's go on debate. Technology is a gift of God. After the gift of life, it is perhaps the greatest gift of God. It is the mother of civilization of arts and sciences, said by Freeman Dyson. Thank you, Honorable Moderator, for giving me a chance in this debate. Today that is fixed for the debate is technology has a better. Today that is fixed for the debate is technology has made the world a better place to live. And our team are in favor of it because actual, factual, and logical reasons. Honorable Moderator, as the first speaker, I need to define the talk. Today, a few things is defined for that are technology has made the world better place and live. At first, what is technology? Technology means the branch of knowledge with dealing engineering and applied science. Next, world. World are together with all of its countries and people. Next, place. Place is a resource and a particular place or a particular area or particular place and space. And then across reach. Reach means remain alive, making one's home in a particular place or particular person. So the total meaning of the topic is technology has made the life of a person is better, more concise and easier. Honorable Moderator, please note, technology has made the world Honorable Moderator, so the meaning of technology has made the people more concise and easier in this art. Because of technology, human life on earth has become easy, beautiful and important. Honorable Moderator, today we will demonstrate that the statement is correct by presenting a few points. These are how technology is improving the life of a person in this art, what stage technology taking place, and the role of technology in managing miserable life. Honorable Moderator, I will go over the basic of the things. The next speaker of our team will prove that our points are true. Honorable Moderator, please notice. Technology has been used in human life before since the first day when primitive man made fire by rubbing stone. Except for the previous one, please note the present day. Nowadays, technology has been used in our world to a great extent in all of the sectors, such as education, healthcare, communication, study of typing knowledge, artificial intelligence, robotics, agriculture, productivity, unemployment problem, and so on. Honorable Moderator, the next speaker of our team will explain all of the sectors and prove that technology has made the world a better place to live. Honorable Moderator, now I am going to say about medical sector. Please note, in medical sector, think about telemedicine. Now we can, this is all the basics of technology. Honorable Moderator, please note. Digital societies are becoming possible. Today we have effective and powerful vaccines for COVID-19 that is very very important. Many kind of medicine are prepared. This relieves us for complex diseases. By our using of facilities like X-ray, ultrasonography, ECG, we can know the condition of our bone health very easily. So all of these are blessings of technology. On the mother, please know. As today in this program, we use microphone, we use camera, we use electrical lights, we use electrical fans. All these are things of technology.
বিকল্প দলের প্রথম বক্তা
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Honorable Moderator, for giving me the opportunity to state my opinion about this topic. I strongly disagree with motion that technology has made the world a better place to live. Before starting my reasons, let me define the meaning of the word technology. Technology means the application of scientific knowledge for practical purposes, especially in industry. Starting from 1980s, people started to use technology every single day. The use of technology kept rising so dramatically that people used it in tiny things. That overuse resulted in negatives. There are many negative effects of overusing of technology on society, but the major effects could be health problems, social problems, privacy problems, and environmental problems. One of the negative sides of the rapid use of technology is health issue. There is no doubt that technology is getting better and spreading around the world. That gets societies to deal with it almost every day to get their work done, resulting in many health issues. These issues can mainly be divided into two categories, which are mental health problems and physical health problems. First of which is the physical health problem. There is a lot of health issues that caused by dealing with technology, but the critical ones are within the eyesight. According to TIP 2013, people who usually use computers for long term experience serious issues such as soreness of the eyes and blurring the vision. That can clearly seen since the eyes have to concentrate all the time on the screen that emits dangerous radiations that affects critically leading the eyes to start dropping tears which can make the eye blurry, resulting in the soreness of the eyes on long terms. Besides, looking at electronic gadgets for long periods lead to neck and back pain as well as clenched elbows, wrists and hands. In addition, technology can cause mental problems for some. People who usually spend hours dealing with TVs and computers without interacting with people get discouraged and get an independent behavior which results in fear of talking to people, resulting them to suffer from mental disease or anxiety. Unfortunately, nowadays, parents are exposing their children to technology without taking in consideration the cruel effect of such an action, causing their children to suffer from many mental diseases. Crawford 2011 mentioned that due to spending huge amounts of time, huge number of children are diagnosed by that can also be clearly seen since the parents do not take in consideration that technology isolates the child from the outer world, thus they get mental diseases. That other mental problems are distraction, narcissism, and expecting of instant gratification. To sum up, technology has double effects, which are mental and psychological problems. However, technology has become an unavoidable part of our life. Historian Christian Rostan said, technology is useful servant, but dangerous master. Hence, people should use less time and communicate with each other and use technology in ways that it doesn't hurt people to avoid getting involved in the future. Thank you, Honorable. Thank you all for listening.
পক্ষদলের দ্বিতীয় বক্তাকে আমন্ত্রণ জানাচ্ছি। স্পিচ শেষ হওয়ার 30 সেকেন্ড আগে রিমাইন্ডার দেওয়া হবে।
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Isim Shahriar Islam. Let us begin. Thank you all for taking a chance to speak about the very topic that has been fixed. Has technology made our world a better place? And I agree. As our first speaker has described the definition of technology and its in the verse, I am going to now talk about the industry of technology and other two knowledgeable sectors of technology, including education. After the dawn of human life in this planet, people have progressed through the the use of technology. One of the most important part of technology is industrial technology, which uses engineering and manufacturing technologies to make production faster, simple, and more efficient. If we talk about efficiency and fastness, the introduction of new tools and techniques for performing given tasks in production, distribution, and data recovery. the materialization of the production of achievements of a state of greater autonomy of human control, technology has changed the nature and level of integration of technical production system and enhanced interdependence. And now new ideas can be drastically used via the use of new technology. One of the most important new inventions of industrial technology is automation. Maintenance workers, thus making a big part of the unemployment problem solved. Now let's continue to the next one. Now, our honorable moderator, if you look at your current voyages through foreign countries, you can see that your voyages took less time. Efficiency, essay, and safety. When it comes to efficiency and essay, new technology ensure that we get more people and more things to their destination safer, faster, with a few amounts of resources in the same way. As Tesla and Boeing, many companies started working on vehicles that are fast as aerospace trains, electric cars, and biofuel-powered airplanes are major in the field. Now, if we talk about efficiency, then we can see that many industries use logistics as trucks and connected cars, which are more faster and AI operated, making them more safe. If we talk about safety, then we can see that the surveillance area, making crime and other problems or accidents less. Now, let's come to the education part. The education system is now more probable because in the public needs. As we can see that nowadays in the early corona pandemic, we are unable to get education from our institutes and teachers. But still, we are able to get the proper education we needed via multimedia. Many types of also co-curriculums can be also activated by multimedia like this debate. Not just that, students can get many information from the internet. Like most of the scripts that are made right now, we are reading, are made by Google search engine. They have used. So that's why without its existence, we have to go to libraries and search for them. This is my conclusion. Thank you very much.
Honorable Moderator, distinguished guest teachers and students, thank you, Honorable Moderator, for the time given us to participate in this debate. The topic for today's debate is whether technology has made the world a better place to live. I am Mariam Nihul Lavana from the opposition team, strongly believe that this statement is totally false. As the speaker of the opposition team, I will point out a very serious point of this topic. Honorable Moderator, we all know that knowledge is power, but according to Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. So, Honorable Moderator, we can easily understand how important imagination power and creativity is for our world and for our society. Honorable Moderator, today's society has become more dynamic and more complex than the past. Therefore, it demands people demonstrate creativity in unforeseeable and complicated situations. Creativity is the ability to imagine and design a new invention, solve difficulties in new ways, or develop an idea based on an unconventional or original approach. Honorable Moderator, creativity perhaps the essential skill required in today's ever-changing society. However, reliance on digital technology is turning people uncreative as most of them rely on the internet for nearly all the information needs. Digital platforms, especially the internet, people are using to access knowledge instead of relying on their own ability to think. Precisely, technology has gradually altered people's imaginativeness as it has reduced people's ability to think and critical thinking. Then how you can say that technology is the agent to make the world a better place to live? Honorable Moderator, nowadays we see that people don't research. They just only search on the Google or on the internet and copy them. When a person doing a PhD or doing thesis works, it's just stimulating it. Sometimes it may be wrong. So, dear opponents, when we are doing something for our betterment of our world is wrong, then how can you say that technology is good here? Honorable Moderator, people usually argue that technology is helping the world advance, at least by making information accessible. But
An optimist thinks that this is the best world possible, and a pessimist fears that this is true. Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Asmi Bashra Shoshi. Our learned opponent's argument just made me remember of the statement by Robert Oppenheimer. Thank you, Honorable Moderator, for giving me the floor. Today I choose to stay for what I believe, and what I fight for is what I stand for, and I stand for a better world. Agreeing with the motion, the contributions that technology has in making a better world is beyond descriptions. But our opponents are so much engulfed in fighting for negativities that it has become our duty to widen their knowledge. It's okay, we don't mind. Let me introduce you to a cutting-edge invention of modern technology called artificial intelligence, or AI. It's a combination of machine learning and deep learning. According to the Google CEO, Sundar Pichai, the impacts of artificial intelligence will be even greater than that of fire and electricity. This may feel like a very ambitious claim, but considering it is already being used to help us tackle climate change, explore space, and develop treatment for cancer. So the potential is clearly there. So let me come to the question that the second speaker of the opponent has asked. It's really funny to me because if technology is spoiling your creativity, then how is technology being invented? How is artificial intelligence is working? Question remains again. Honorable Moderator, I would like to draw your kind attention to the fact that we live in a country where around 3.1 billion US dollars, or 26,400 crores taka, is being illegally remitted every year according to a report of Transparency International Bangladesh. Another report goes, according to a white paper by computer scientists from the University of Jakarta, AI algorithms achieved up to 96% accuracy in reduction of fraud. While in the IDIA survey says 20% of financial service providers say they use AI-based anti-fraud technology in 2021. By 2022, that figure grew to 61%. This proves that a lower middle income country like Bangladesh needs the excellence of AI in technology, just like our opponents need some healthy reasons to deny today's motion. As described by the two previous speakers of my team, technology is not only making human lives better, the world is living, but also it's making the world a safe place for the humans. Let me tell you how. According to an article published in the Korean Times, 3,09,275 people were injured or killed in traffic accidents in 2019, but that rate was about 10.4% in the next year. And it kept decreasing again and again. Now, why has this impossible thing become possible? This is possible because of the huge use of autonomous cars. And thank you so much, everybody.
বিকল্প দলের দ্বিতীয় বক্তাকে আসতে অনুরোধ জানাচ্ছি।
The opportunity to present the arguments of the debate. Our motion is technology has made the world a better place to live. Me and my team strongly against of it. First argument. Now, why computers and the internet have so many good qualities or benefits? There is a lot of harm associated with the internet. There is cybercrime or cybertheft. What is cybertheft? Cybertheft occurs when a criminal uses the internet to steal the personal or financial data of the victim with the intent of the use information for criminal purposes. Cybertheft can happen to anyone or any business. More than 15 million people experience IT each year. It's a criminal affair that costs the economy more than 60 billion every year. Since 2011, the problem has caused more than 100 billion in losses. One of the reasons it has become more relevant is that more people have access to technology today. Moderator says the innovation of technology is not for a specific place or container. Any person in society can be harmed for its mission. Its abuse occurs more or less everywhere in the world. Apart from Bangladesh, in other countries of the world, people are using the discoveries of science in various kinds of misuse. Our information technology is being attacked by some minor and more influential people. A large part of crime is organized around this social media. Various social networking sites are now being used as a medium to hurt people's emotions and feelings. These values people have made technology their sphere of enjoyment and luxury. Distortion of information, personal denigration of a person in the society, satirical presentation of portraits, etc. have become a routine activity in social media. Incidents like blackmailing by stealing information and pictures of individual organizations are often happening. Criminals gangs use the internet as a covered medium to carry out their criminal activities. As internet users can easily hide their identity. It is easy to threaten someone, extort money by trapping them in a fake relationship or take revenge by recording private intimate moments and spreading them on various online sites. Technology negatively affects social relationships because communication for text messages, emails or various applications does not replace direct face-to-face communication, as technology can lead to isolation and depression to the loss of ability and to communicate with others. Thank you. Stop.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. This is Anika Nawaz. Thank you, Honorable Moderator, for giving me the floor here. Today we are gathered here to prove whether technology has made our world a better place or not. And me and my team are in motion of this topic. And unlike the first, second, and third speaker of our team's speech, I also want to say that technology has come to a great extent to our day-to-day life globally. And today, in agriculture issues, technology is the orchid for farmers. And according to an article published by the World Bank, as Bangladesh is an agricultural-based economical country, the food rate of production tripled between 1972 to 34.4 million tons, with one of the fastest rate of productivity growth in the world since 1995, averaging 2.7 per year. Bangladesh's agriculture sector has benefited huge by substantial public investment in technology. And now, thanks to technology, we have that much sufficient food that we can face any natural calamities later. And as well as technology made the world a better place, Dr. Muhammad Zafar Iqbal sir said, it is high time for us to change the country by using technology, as we fell behind by not being able to participate in Renaissance, but we have to participate in the march of technology and information. So my dear opponent, why will he tell us to take part in the march of technology? Because obviously technology made something good for us. That's why he tells us to join technology. In our opinion, technology expands our ways of thinking things. It expands also our ways of doing things. That's why technology is beneficial for all of our day-to-day life. And as in the world, we know that unemployment is a great threat for us globally. Thousands of educated people out there can find any suitable job for them. But technology also has made an example for them. And according to the Trade and Development Organization by UN, as in our countries and hubs, Digital Economy Report published in 2019, there are almost 6 lakh freelancers working globally through outsourcing. And where there in 2011 participants were only 10,000, and now they are earning like 10 crore foreign currencies. So according to the quote of Susan Buzuki, from phones to cars to medicine, technology touches every part of